Intermittent fasting, IF, has become the cool kid of the dietary world, part biohack, part ancient wisdom, part excuse to skip breakfast without guilt. But beyond the trendy apps and hashtag detoxes, there's a quietly building body of science that suggests IF might be doing more than trimming waistlines or improving metabolic markers. It might be influencing the very fabric of how we age, from the pace of our biological clock to how well we resist frailty and disease in the later chapters of life. At the heart of this story is the idea that not all aging is visible on the outside. While gray hair and crow's feet get the headlines, it's the microscopic wear and tear, molecular changes in DNA methylation, cellular repair, hormone sensitivity, and systemic inflammation that truly defines how fast or slow we're aging. And this is where intermittent fasting gets particularly interesting. Let's start with the concept of the epigenetic clock. These are biomarkers based on patterns of DNA methylation that can predict biological age more accurately than the candles on your birthday cake. In recent human trials, modest but consistent reductions in epigenetic age have been observed in individuals who adopted intermittent fasting or calorie-restricted regimens. The Calorie Study, a landmark trial in calorie restriction, didn't use IF per se, but it demonstrated a deceleration in biological aging markers, some of which overlapped with intermittent fasting mechanisms like nutrient sensing, autophagy, and reduced insulin signaling. In newer trials, time-restricted eating, like an 8-hour eating window, is beginning to show similar epigenetic patterns, less DNA methylation drift, and expression of genes tied to longevity pathways, including those that regulate inflammation and cellular maintenance. Next up is insulin resistance, the metabolic bogeyman of modern aging. As we grow older, even healthy individuals tend to become less sensitive to insulin, which drives up blood sugar, feeds inflammation, and increases the risk for everything from type 2 diabetes to Alzheimer's disease. Intermittent fasting appears to be uniquely suited to fight this drift. Unlike traditional diets that focus on what you eat, IF emphasizes when you eat, and giving your body extended breaks from food may improve insulin signaling by reducing glucose exposure, enhancing mitochondrial function, and upregulating pathways like AMPK, the cellular energy sensor that gets grumpy when it's overfed. Several well-controlled studies have shown that even without weight loss, intermittent fasting can improve insulin sensitivity. One notable study in pre-diabetic men using early time-restricted feeding, eating all meals before 3 p.m., showed improved insulin levels, reduced oxidative stress, and better beta cell responsiveness within 5 weeks, without changing calorie intake. This suggests that fasting's metabolic magic may be driven not just by fewer calories, but by syncing eating with circadian rhythms and triggering cellular repair processes like autophagy, which helps remove damaged components that accumulate with age like junk in a basement. Now, let's talk about frailty, the physical and physiological vulnerability that creeps up with age and often leads to falls, fractures, or loss of independence. While long-term data is still emerging, intermittent fasting's effects on weight management, muscle retention, when paired with protein and resistance training, and reduced inflammation suggest it could help delay frailty onset. It can also improve mitochondrial efficiency and reduce fat infiltration in muscle tissue, two key players in preserving physical function and energy levels. Some researchers even argue that intermittent fasting mimics the stressors our bodies evolved with. Intermittent food scarcity that trained our biology to be resilient, efficient, and metabolically sharp. That hormetic stress, the biological equivalent of a cold shower for your cells, appears to stimulate repair, upregulate antioxidant defenses, and preserve muscle stem cell pools, all of which are crucial for staving off frailty in older age. Of course, this isn't to say that intermittent fasting is a one-size-fits-all miracle. It can be challenging for older adults with existing frailty, underweight issues, or chronic illness. Long fasting windows can also lead to nutrient gaps if the eating window is too restrictive or haphazardly planned. But for midlife adults and metabolically healthy older individuals, it is increasingly seen not just as a short-term diet strategy, but a potential longevity intervention, one that works through ancient biology rather than calorie math. So, is intermittent fasting turning back the biological clock? Maybe not in a Benjamin Button way, but it's definitely nudging the needle, gently slowing methylation drift, sharpening insulin response, and reducing the cellular clutter that comes with age. It won't make you immortal, but it might help you arrive at old age with a steadier gait, sharper mind, and a metabolic profile that says, I've been resting and repairing, what's next? Because if aging is inevitable, the goal isn't to stop the clock, It's to make every tick count. And sometimes, all that takes is giving your body a little space between meals to remember how good it is at healing itself.